review for Die Hard 2, directed by Renny Harlin, starring Bruce Willis. So, I've always been a fan of this movie, pretty big fan. Um, I've always been kind of surprised some people really don't like this movie. I know the first movie is better. I do really like the first movie a lot. I will review that soon, probably. But I was just watching this last night, and I was decided to do a review about it. So, but I've always liked the movie. I know there's some criticisms of it, which I'll get into, which are true. Some of the criticisms. I know the third movie has a lot more love, but to me, I've always liked this more than the third movie. I would rank it one, two, three, and then four, and then five, I guess. But I'm not a bit. I don't know. I should rewatch four, I guess, but I've never been a massive fan. But anyways, this is 1990. I've always thought this was an underrated movie, really good action movie. I think Renny Harlin's a good director, or he was. Um, because he directed Cliffhanger, which I really like that movie. Deep Blue Sea, that's a fun movie, cheesy but fun. The Long Kiss Goodnight, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Master. Cutthroat Island, I don't really remember. Long Kiss Goodnight, decent movie. I think his best are Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Die Hard 2, and Cliffhanger, if I had to rank them. But, but yeah, this movie takes place in Washington, D.C., in Dulles Airport. He's there, he's waiting for his wife, and basically people take over the controls for the runway. They hack into the system, basically, and William Atherton is the main villain. Or not William Atherton. I mean, what's his name? William Sadler. He's the main villain. Good villain, not as good as the original. I'm not sure you need the naked Tai Chi scene or whatever he's doing. Uh, kind of odd way to introduce your villain, but and yeah, and they take over the controls for the runway and the communications with the airplanes. They put them in a circling rotation around the airport, and there's a huge storm going on, and they want to basically rescue this guy who is a fugitive from the law, and he's from like Central America, and he's played by Franco Nero. Who's been in a bunch of stuff. John Wick Chapter 2, Django Unchained, the original Django. Tarantino's a big fan of his, so I really like him as an actor. And they're trying to rescue him. The U.S. Marshals are there. They're gonna arrest him. He was like, I think, kind of like a dictator from Central America, and now he's wanted by the U.S. Marshals. So, and they have a plan to get him and to get a bunch of money and to escape. And yeah, and then John McClane is in the airport and he starts to notice some things. He encounters some of them, fights them. He tries to get the police, the local police's attention. They won't listen to him. They brush him off because he's a cop from LA. I think he says he used to be a cop, yeah, from New York. But yeah, I like this movie. I think it's well directed. I think it's well shot. You know, bigger budget than the first one. Some good special effects. Um, you know, Bonnie Bedelia's in it again. His wife and William Atherton. But I'll get to that. Um, yeah, and you know, enjoyable movie. The T-1000's in it for like a few minutes in a shootout in the movie. So I thought that was it's kind of cool. It's like an early role for him. And he has a great line when he's like, yeah, a sitting duck. But definitely some great gunplay. You know, Bruce Willis is at the top of his game. I think he's really giving it all, trying. Unlike some of his later movies, but John Leguizamo's in it, but I don't think he has a talking role. So Dennis Franz is in it as a police chief. Guy always plays a cop, it seems like. John Amos is in it too, as like a special unit that they bring in to take them down. So but overall, I like the movie. I think it's underrated. So I'll get into spoilers. So Bonnie Bedelia is in one of the planes that is being delayed and could be crashed. It's a little cheesy that William Atherton's in the same plane as her, and she has he has a restraining order against her. So you know, there's definitely some plot contrivances, and I know this movie's been criticized about that, and you know, fair enough, it's true. But you know, it's just something about this movie I always liked. Like, I just ever, you know, even as a kid, even since I was a kid, I've always enjoyed it. Obviously, I love the first movie. The first movie is, you know, I mean, basically a masterpiece from John McTiernan. But you know, I think in the sequel, um, they got a decent director. I think they wanted McTiernan to come back, but he was busy. Maybe he was shooting Hunt for Red October or something then. But I think they went with a good director. They didn't just go with anyone. So, and I think he made a good movie. But you know, I think it is kind of underrated. I know I've always heard people say that they don't think it's good. A lot of people. I think now it's getting kind of more of a cult following. But in this, he says the famous line "Yippee ki yay." I get. Does he say it in the first one? Yeah, I guess he does. But I think it's more iconic in this because of when he says it at the very end when he's about to blow up the plane. Um, so the film exceeded all expectations, outgrossing the original by nearly double. The general is from Valverde, the fictitious Latin American country used in Commando, 1985. Really? Huh, I didn't know that. Oh, it was shot in Denver apparently. Oh, because they wanted to get the cold. But Denver was unseasonably snowless during the shooting of the snowstorm scenes, and a fair amount of snow had to be created artificially. Well, it looks great though. So it was Renny Harlin's idea that Colonel Stewart be introduced that way. He would later say that it was an effective but unusual way to introduce a character. Yeah, I'd agree. William Sadler trained for several months in karate and tai chi to prepare for the ending fight scene in the film. In an interview, John Stamos said there was actual tension between him and Bruce Willis during the course of filming, which got reflected on screen. Let's just say that he will never humiliate me in public again. Amos said, "You got that, Bruce?" He's great in the movie, too. Definitely some good tension between them. Some great lines. Um, and I mean, spoilers, like I said, and he's brought in as the military unit to bring them down. And I think he does a good job. I mean, I think the twist is pretty good that they're part of it. Um, it does hint because the Sadler was one of his men before, so there's some brutal death scenes with Bruce Willis, like the icicle in the eye always got to me. Like, oh man, that is brutal. But the confrontation between John McClane and William Sadler on the airplane wing took several nights to shoot. While Bruce Willis was paid 7.5 million for his work on the film. Okay, in interviews, Bruce Willis has expressed displeasure with this film because he felt it was too similar to the original and didn't like the constant references to that film. Yeah, I mean that is the thing with the third movie that people like is it's different. It's true. This feels more like a Die Hard movie to me though, and maybe that is because it's similar. I mean, he's kind of trapped in a building, but he does leave, so he's not really, but he kind of is. He's trapped in the airport and kind of like the underbelly of the airport too. Before the final script, Fred Decker and Shane Black were offered drafts for the film. All the drafts got rejected. Decker's draft was subsequently made into the film Ricochet, which I've never seen that. While Black's draft was made into The Last Boy Scout. Both of them were produced by Joel Silver. Okay. Hmm. That's interesting. Maybe I should watch Ricochet. Reginald Bill Johnson's in it. I mean, I'm not really crazy about how he's in the movie because it's just kind of cheesy, but he faxes him some information, fingerprints and stuff, because he's getting no one's helping him out there, so he gets him to kind of help him out. Um, so he's fourth build. He only appears in two scenes. Yeah, but yeah, I've always liked the movie. I think it's underrated. Um, I mean, I understand the criticisms and I even agree with a lot of them, but to me, it's still a very enjoyable, watchable movie. You know, and Bonnie Bedelia is great as his wife, even though she's trapped in an airplane. I mean, I like how her interactions with what's his name, William Atherton, and she ends up using a taser on him because he is just so slimy. I mean, great actor for playing that role. Kind of a, he's in The Fly also, and obviously Ghostbusters, but yeah, an enjoyable movie. Not as good as the first, but I think a solid sequel, definitely. That's that's kind of my feelings on the movie, but yeah, let me know your feelings below, and if you like the movie, let me know. Let me know why. If you don't like the movie, let me know why also. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.